Gearbest has sent me the MJX RC Bugs 3 to review. The only other MJX RC quads I've ever reviewed have been little tiny ones, you know, the little small one that looks like a barrel, the 929 I think it's called, and that was awesome. I loved it to bits. So this is a totally different beast. Brushless motors, much larger obviously. I'm hoping it's fully assembled in here. If not, it's going to be absolutely huge. As you can see, box really nice, good old carrying handle, and it's got these sort of bug logos kicking around it. Very smart looking thing. Transmitter does look a little bit sort of boring, to be honest, but I'm not worried what it looks like. It's how it handles I'm more interested in. And loads of extras you can just put onto it, and I'm assuming it comes pretty basic, and these are just all add-ons that you put on, and we'll run through anything that I come across within the package. And there's what's actually in my package. So you've got the quad itself, prop guards, props, but we'll get this all out and have a proper look at it, see what it looks like in the flesh, and obviously your warnings at the bottoms. So let's get it out of the box and have a look. So I've got the cardboard out of the way, and you've got these bug stickers everywhere, which I kind of guess you decorate your own one, or perhaps put it on your carry case or whatever. Instruction manual I'll have a go through in a little while, and it comes really well packed, polystyrene, nothing unusual there. And then inside everything is really packed well. Everything's double wrapped in plastic, as you can clearly see, and then we're actually into the actual quad and everything. Let's get this out of the bench and have a look. And there we go, that's us all unpacked. And awesome looking piece of kit, I must admit. I do like the look of it. You get loads of stuff with it. It's amazing how they packed it all in, to be honest. You get another complete set of props, so that's 2 sets of props. As you can see, none of them are mounted onto the actual quad itself. And with that, obviously the box was quite tight on here, so they couldn't have the props on. And it actually measures 310mm from centre to centre across the diagonal, to give you an idea. Or you can see it in my hand, so we'll get an idea. It's a nice size quad. All plastic. I can't see any carbon or any metal on it, and I wouldn't expect that in the frame at this price, but it looks like it could probably take a knock on that. It's sort of got landing feet, short landing feet on. If you didn't want the camera cage on, you could just use that to fly with, and I should probably be giving that a go, because I like the brushless. You can use it a bit more of a sports model, which I think this one would do. LED at the front and some LEDs down the arms. I'm hoping you'll be able to see these LEDs to see what direction it's flying in, but certainly the headlight's going to help if it's nice and bright. Anyway, got the little logo on it, and it's just very smart looking, very slick looking. The camera cage I was saying about, that just simply clicks into there, and then you just click it back out again, so that's going to hold it in nice way forward, I think. So should be able to certainly miss out these short legs, which would be good, and probably wouldn't get the props in unless you angle it up. And you can actually change the angle of it as well, which is rather good. And that's for taking GoPro, Yami, that sort of thing. You get a couple of little bits of rubber that you can put in there if you need to, just to pad it out a bit. And obviously you could then run that out into an FPV system as well, so that would be rather cool. The prop guards, you just have to simply unscrew these two here. I shall be using them, so I shan't be doing this, but I've had a good look around it. A couple of little spigots there go into those holes. Slot that on, and that'll clip into position, and then you just put those screws back in, and that'll hold it in there. But as you can see, now we're making a really large quad out of it. But yeah, I've got the protection there. If you're new to flying or a little bit nervous, then definitely pop these on. Better to have them on and not use them than not have them on and really wish you had. The legs I've got big sort of rubber landing feet on them, rather good, and they go on exactly the same as an awful lot of the other quads, the SEMA X8 and stuff like that. In there, give you a bag of screws, a couple of screws in there, and then you've sort of got high landing gear there, which will clear the camera cage. So it's really, you know, and it still looks actually quite nice. Looks very insect-like with those on as well, especially with the extra short landing gear as well. The battery itself is 1800 milliamp hour 2-cell, and this is the first time I've come across this. This is an XT30. I've got the XT60 on a lot of my other RC stuff, but I've not come across the 30, and just simply slots in. It's got its own sort of cage for carrying it around and protecting it, and then that slots into the main battery holder, and then you just simply put it in. It's clearly marked plus or minus, as you can see. Whoops. and then there is a little bit of power in it obviously, but it's in storage mode, so we need to get this on charge before we try and go for a flight. And then wow, that light's nice and bright on the front, so that is really going to stand out, and I think we would be able to see them sort of from an angle, so that would be good, but no light's going to come out through the top, that's for sure. And I'm sure you've got some different coloured ones on the back there. The actual battery itself, like I say, it's an 1800 milliamp hour, and you charge it through the balance port with this charger here, which is the mains one, and you just get the adapter plug for your country. And slightly disappointing, it only charges at 500 milliamp hours, so you're going to be looking at 3.5 hours to charge that. So I shall use a hobby grade charger, and I'll put a link down to the one I use and the video I did about it. The props you change, you can use this to actually hold the motor, so you can tighten up the props. And I'm not too sure what the nut one's for, because I haven't seen anything that's got a nut on it at the moment, but unless you're using the props that you need a nut wrench for, but to be honest, they're self-tightening props anyway, so it shouldn't really be a problem. The obligatory small Phillips screwdriver, you can never have too many of those when you're into RC obviously. And then finally onto the actual transmitter itself, and definitely a toy grade one, feels very quite plastic in the hands, but at this price that's all I would expect really. You simply screw these on, they give you little screws just to pop those on, just to keep it even smaller in the box that it all comes in. You do need 4 AA batteries in the back there to power up the transmitter, and there's nothing marked on any of the buttons, so I'll run through those when I'm doing the flight, and we're having a look at the transmitter. The instruction manual is A5 in size and in full colour, and it's really well done. I should flick through it quickly, but everything is really well called out. The text isn't too small to read, it's nice and clear. The translations are superb. The graphics are all very well done, and they actually look like the quad, where sometimes you wonder whether it's the quad you bought or whether it's just a generic one, but no, this is really well done. Everything's explained fully. If you're new to flying, this would help an awful lot. If you're an experienced pilot, you just jump to the bits that are different on this quad to your other quad, and it is just so well done. Everything is superbly done, and it even explains power indications, stuff like that. Everything that should be explained is explained in here. And then we go on to full photographs of the parts and the actual part numbers and what they're called. So no, really excellent manual. In the manual it tells you to hold down this red button and then turn the transmitter on, and then you get this flashing green LED here. But to be honest, I've tried it without holding that down, turning this on, and then turning the quad on first, then turning this on. It seems to bind and work absolutely fine either way. If you need to calibrate the transmitter, and I haven't needed to do mine, but there's a calibration switch here. When you go to turn it on, instead of using the red, you simply hold this button up for a couple of seconds, turn it on, hold this up for a couple of seconds as you're turning it on, and then you get a beep, beep, beep. Go round a couple of times with the sticks, and then hold that up again for another couple of seconds. You get another beep to confirm that you've done it. So I haven't needed to do mine, so I can't see any sense in doing it, to be honest. To calibrate the actual quad, once you're actually bound, you bring your sticks down and to the right, and then you get a flashing LED. So hopefully we'll give that a go. So just plug this in. And there we go. Even though we stopped flashing here, as you can see, it binds really quickly. Interestingly, you only get the front LEDs on until the motors are running. You don't get the back ones on, and the front are white and the back are blue. So like I say, to calibrate, pull it down to the right, and then that puts it into calibration, and that's for the gyro on the actual quad itself. And then if you want, then when you're ready to start the motors, it's this one here. It's a mode 2 flight, so you've got throttle up and down here, turn or yaw right and left, pitch forward, back, and pitch and roll right and roll left. So mode 2 throttle. Start the motors, just quick press, and that's it, going, and then you're away. To stop them, hold it down for a couple of seconds. You get a beep beep, a sort of longer beep there, and that will happen even if you're in flight. So if you get in a real panic situation, you just need to drop it out the sky, hold that down for a couple of seconds, and that will be it. It will drop basically. It's an unusual quad. I can't think of any others I've got, but it starts in high rates, and it's only got 2 rates. To change the rates into low,
press that one, that brings it into low rate, which would be great for videoing and such like. If you want it in high rates, press it again, it goes back into high rates, which is good, like a sports model then really. The flip button here is here on the right hand side, and to flip you have to hold the flip down and then you choose what direction you want to flip in. If you just press it, nothing happens basically. You have to hold that one down. And then this last button here is if your one's got the camera with it, which mine didn't have, just got the holder with it. If you got the camera, you press that once and you get a single shot taken. Hold it down for a couple of seconds and it starts the video, and then you have to hold it down for another couple of seconds to stop the video. If you want to turn lights on and off, simply hold this one down here, and then your lights will go off, but it does leave the headlight on, which is quite good because that headlight is really nice and bright. And then just hold it again and it'll turn them back on again for you. You do get a bit of telemetry back from the actual quad, so when the battery's starting to run low, this starts beeping, which is rather good, and if you get into to start to run out of range, it also starts to beep as well. So if you lose the signal, it will beep as well. So there we go. And the nice thing about this is if you do get near the edge of where the signal is, it rebinds really quickly, so which is great. You could sort of recover it in the air. There we go. So it's rebounds straight away. You would be pushing it a bit, but you would stand a fighting chance with it, which is good. And if you lose, if the transmitter fails on power or anything, obviously, you then get flashing LEDs on the actual quad itself. And like I say, that rebinds really quickly. Well, that is smooth, I must admit. Wow, that is smooth. There's no altitude holder with this, but to be honest, when it holds like that, you don't really need it, do you? I don't even think we get any vibration at all. It doesn't feel it. As you ever come past and we're in low and then up into high, whoa, yeah, it certainly makes a difference. Whoa, lovely. This thing's gorgeous. Love it. That is really smart. Let's do a punch out.